at a certain point, I got so fat again. I guess it was like from the stress of moving, furnishing the apartment, starting a new job, and the job was harder than my old job. I mean, it was the same. It was pretty much the same thing, but it was a lot more responsibilities and with new people, so like new impressions and everything, right? So I think I was stressed out from like that, the career aspect. Also, just a creative, like I was kind of thwarted again. Like I didn't have time to be creative. I didn't think I did, at least. And yeah, I guess I started stress eating, drinking again. I I had this idea that if I could save money if I just like go get my booze at Costco and like stock the fridge with like 40 beers. That way I don't have to go buy a 6-pack that's like overpriced. But then I would just drink it way faster, and I'm like, dude, I'm losing way more money, and I'm like gaining a shit ton of weight. So I hit my peak again. I was 229 pounds the day after my surgery. So I got my surgery in March, and I know we're jumping around month to month, but this is all in 2025. So I got the surgery, and I remember when I went in, because they weigh you in before the surgery, because I had to give blood samples and everything. So they wanted to get all my, like, whatever body measurements and everything, so that the anesthesiologist can get their dosage right. And I weighed myself, and I was like 227 when I went in. And I remember thinking, like, God damn, bro, I'm back. Like, all that work I did in 2024 was just like that. And then after the surgery, I remember I bought a scale so I can actually track it. I never had a scale. And I guess in a way that was like some form of me holding myself accountable, to actually see the number, force myself to see it every day, right? And at least I'm thinking about it every day. I'm not just blindly just shoveling things down my gullet. Anyways, I got the scale, and then after my surgery, I saw it, and I was like 229. I'm like, how the fuck did I gain 2 pounds after my surgery? Like, I wasn't even eating. Anyways, but then that's where I was like, dude, if that number hits like 230, like if it hits that number like 230, I've never seen the scale start with 2 and a 3, right? And I wasn't gonna start. And dude, this is what really started the whole thing. I saw this video of I think it was Piers Morgan, and he was on this. There was like these ladies on his panel as well, and then they were talking about like this like diet, like the best way to diet. Like there's like, oh, there's a new way. Like people found a new way, and then he cuts them off. He's like, eat less food, do more exercise. And one of the ladies is just like, are you a doctor? And I started laughing. I was like on my phone, my fat ass was laughing, and I'm just like, wait a minute, why the fuck am I laughing? I'm fat as fuck, dude. Like, I looked at my height and weight on the BMI scale, and the BMI thing said clinically obese, and I was like, yo, I've never thought of myself like that, dude. Like, whatever, some people have body dysmorphia where like they're like really, really skinny and like they think they're really fat. I think I had it the other way around, where I was like hella fat, and I was looking at myself like, looking good, dude. So that was a good one. I got really back into cooking those meals to help myself portion it all out. I didn't get obsessive about it. Like, I never weighed all my shit out. But I did, I started making like basic stuff, because I realized for me, cooking, it's not about gourmet shit, because if I want gourmet food and I'm eating for the flavor, I'm just going to go out and get it. Like, what's the point of living in a city if you're not going to go buy the food that other people do way better and way faster than you are, And honestly, it's cheaper too. If I go and get all those ingredients fresh, like I'm probably going to fuck it up, and I'm going to spend just as much. What am I saving, like $8 on a meal? Dude, I'd rather spend that $8, get my 7.5 hours of the day back, and just go about my life. You know what I mean? But I didn't have to have every meal. So I broke it up. I saw it this way. It doesn't matter what I do on the weekends, but during the weekdays, it should be like this kind of like I'm just grinding. So everything needs to have a goal during the weekdays. So I already had stopped drinking and smoking, or getting high, and I was like, okay, another step further for my weight loss journey can be just controlling the meals that I make. So instead of just delivering food or whatever, and whatever it is, I decided to start doing OMAD fasting. So I just eat one meal a day in the evenings, and this worked out so well for me because every meal was like a stress. It was a stress response, right? So it's no different than drinking or getting high, right? A lot of it, sometimes food is an escape too. So that's the way I saw it for myself. And if I can exercise that same discipline that I did with going to the gym and the sauna, that I did with and with drinking, if I could take that same discipline of like holding back and staying for that long-term goal of success, if I can apply that in my diet, then I think everything will align, right? So I was like, the best way for me to do that is not to have 3 meals a day, because that's going to drive me nuts. Like, because then I got to think like 3 times a day. I got to think, okay, don't eat this much, eat like this, like, and every meal, it's like I'm never feeling full. So I was like, fuck it. I'd rather feel full once and go hungry the rest of the day than just like tease myself with like a little bit of like, what am I going to have, like 8 almonds? Like, and that's going to be like tracked with my dinner. Like, it was just way too much. Right. So I started doing the OMAD fasting. And for my one meal, I would cook, I would get like this ground beef from Costco. And I still do this right now. Actually, I did it a couple days ago. What I do is I grind it all up, and then I cook it, and then I just get like a jarred sauce and I pour it over. And now I just have pasta sauce for 6 nights. And that to me is the pinnacle of cooking for me, is like low effort, super quick, it's healthy, and I don't have to think. All I have to do is I have to like grab the sauce out from the fridge, and then I boil some pasta, and I just make the pasta fresh. And then I got some frozen vegetables. So I decided to just be like, fuck it, dude. During the week, like, it doesn't have to be about the flavor. I'm just, as long as I'm eating healthy somewhat and it's fast and cheap, like, that's all I need. Because anyways, I'm gonna eat the food, and then I'm just gonna go to the gym, and then hit the sauna, have my protein shake, come back. And this is the most important part, before I can even have any other thoughts in my mind, because I would gym after eating dinner. So I would gym from like 8:30 or 9 p.m. To like 11:30 or 12. And if I stayed up, I would 100% eat, right? I would break my diet. I would cheat on my OMAD thing. But I started just taking melatonin and just winding down. Like, immediately I get home, put my clothes away, empty my bottle into the sink, and then clean up. And then I would take the melatonin, and then I would drink some water, and then I would brush my teeth, and then I would just lay in bed. And that really, really helped me, because if I stayed up, I would just eat. So that was like a whole routine. So when I finished my work, it became this beautiful thing where I wasn't really thinking. I was just on autopilot for months on end, where I had something to do all the time, and it was always leading towards this larger goal of like discipline and diet and exercise, and all 3 were just hitting this perfect trifecta where I was shedding weight. I was dropping about 4 pounds a month. I think they say recommended to do like 0.5 pound a week. That shit was too slow for me, bro. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I even on the weekends, like, I would fuck it up sometimes, because I would easily just binge eat. Like, no problem, I could put down 3,000 calories in a meal, right? That's not the problem, especially if I'm drinking. So easy to do. So I would do that OMAD fasting. I would exercise and do all that during the week. But then some weeks I would be like a little extra depressed or whatever, stressed out. I would just eat it back on the weekend. So some weeks I was stagnant. So then I realized, I was like, oh shit, there isn't really, like, there are limits. Like, I actually can eat my way out from this deficit over the weekend. So even if I work hard for 5 days, if I fuck it up in those 2 days, then what's the point, right? Like, I'm just right back where I started. So it started to become this lifelong thing than more so than like I had thought of it as like a short-term thing where I'm like, okay, I'll just lose the weight and then I can return back to my life. And instead, when I started to undo my work on the weekends by binge eating, I was like, this needs to be a lifelong thing. This needs to be a shift in my mentality. Like, it's not a diet. This is just how I eat now. And that made it so much easier because I'm like, oh yeah, it's not a phase. This is just what I'm doing now. And this is where I feel good. And honestly, after a couple months, like it became second nature. Like it became weird to eat during the day. I would still get hungry, especially when I would go to the office. They would have like really, really good food for lunch. And it took everything in me to just not eat right there. And it kind of helped that I told my coworkers because they'd be watching my ass too. They'd be like, still dieting? And I couldn't be like, fuck, dude, now I can't do it. Now I have to stick to it. But I would pack my plate and I would take it home. And I would eat it for dinner. So, yeah, massive returns on that. Anyways, that was a huge tangent. That was number 4, make rice and dal. It did start. It started this whole just writing down the goal of making rice and dal. I realized every one of these stems from like something in my subconscious. Like I want to do these. Yes, I want something to do, but there's a deeper reason behind why I wanted to do each of these items. And that one was a really, really good one that I liked.